Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, drip, and farm for poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And today's video, we are going to take another deep dive into the farm mechanics revealed, and the absolute most important day of the farm that you need to be on the lookout for, and why at the end of this is all bullish for drip. So let's jump straight into the video and start breaking down these things. Grab your spreadsheets if you want to track along, because we are going to tear these numbers apart, and you're going to see why this is what they say to be the absolute best yield farm in crypto. And we got the numbers to prove it. So we're going to jump right into it. First, let's take a look at the TVL. We have dropped about 30 million, and that is due primarily one to the big crash in BNB that we got hit upside the head with, and some of the stuff happening with the dogs, which is what the reason for this video is, to show you how that's actually bullish. Even though we're seeing a decrease in the TVL, we're going to show you how literally the mechanics and the way Forex set this up to be a forever farm, and how it's doing exactly what it should do. And again, why at the end of this is all bullish for drip. So let's first take a look at the dog. So those of you that are not familiar, hopefully by now you are, but we have the dog pound, and it is the primary reward token of the farm. So when you add your assets, your liquidity to this farm, you are earning the native farm token, the dog token. And the dog can earn the pigs, and that goes into the pig pen. But this is all about the dogs and a little bit of how it will help the pig pen. But with the dogs, we have the auto compounding and the linear pool. Most people are in the auto compounding pool because this reduces your dog tax 1% per day. That's extremely important to understand because that impacts how these rewards pay out in the future. And seeing how many people are in these farms is what we really want to address so that we can run some numbers. So we head over to BSC scan, and we can see that there's 1.75 million animal farm dogs across various contracts. I've added labels to most of these. You can do that yourself. If you want to do that, head on over to the wiki and then look at the tokens and contracts, and then you can copy these and add them in when you come up here to your login and go to address private notes. So I showed you that in another video. I'm not gonna do it here. But anyway, it's important to look at these two farms, or these two parts of the dog pound, I should say. So there's 750,000 animal farm dogs in this one contract, which is the auto pool, and then there's 247,000 in the linear pool. Now when we go into each one of these, we can see how the values have changed since the farm launched, right? So the farm started here on the 18th, and it started with 636,000 animal farm dogs, and it's gone up now to about 749,000. That's in the auto, right? Then we come over to the linear, we can see same thing, but a lot smaller. So 144,000, and then all the way up to 248,000, right? So this is important, remember, because this is day one of the farm. This is how many people got in and staked their dogs. So this is how many dogs could be sold potentially down the line somewhere. Of course, we know people who understand the ecosystem will definitely keep some dogs, but remember, we're also minting dogs at about 4,032 a day. So there is a significant amount of dogs that can be sold, at least 4,000 a day, which doesn't even account for additional dogs that were purchased. Remember, you can farm dogs, but you can also purchase dogs. That's important because we're going to cover that in this video as well. But at a minimum, these are dogs that are being earned, as Stunner would say, for free, because you're staking your capital and you're earning these dogs every day. So it's likely to believe that this amount at a minimum would be sold per day, because you're getting them right back, and you just got to wait for that 90-day vesting. So again, keep these kind of things in mind so that you'll understand where I'm tying all this from and how it impacts the forecast. So we come over to our handy dandy spreadsheet, and here we have on 17th of November, that number I mentioned for the linear pool, 144,000, and then on the auto, 636,000. Right? So these are the numbers that are shown literally on BSC scan. So we know them to be accurate because this is tracking those pools. And then you can actually see each day those balances changing. And then, of course, you can look at the total supply. You can add all the contracts up and see if that adds up to this number here. So we take that now and we look at what's happened over these 30 days. And on average, each of these pools have added about 3,600, average 3,500 on average, but 3,400 for this one and 3,700 for this one. That's what's been added to these pools to get to these numbers, because on today, we're recording this video, 17 December, so literally 1 month that the farms have been out. It's 749,000 and the linear is 247. I just subtracted those and divided by 30. That's just simple math. And that comes out to 3,400 here, 3,700 here of dogs that have been added to these pools. So again, that's important to know. Where does that come from? And we can validate that it is accounted for because when we go to all the other contracts and add them up, I get, just from the first page, 1.736 million when I add everything up. So there's about a 20,000 discrepancy, which is reference to me only adding these contracts, the ones identified here with the contract icon, and on the first page. So there's about 20,000 dogs that are not allocated or I haven't added up, and that would be these dogs sitting in wallets, right? So that makes sense. That just means the math adds up, that when we add these two farms or these pools together and we add the other contracts and we look at the total supply, we subtract them, we definitely know we have the right number. So we can safely say that this is the amount that was being added to these contracts each day, even though I didn't come into here and subtract, each one. That's an average, right? So maybe it went up 5,000 one day and then 2,000 the other day. But that's important to note, because right here is what we're looking at in regards to emissions. Now, you guys have hopefully watched my other videos and you understand how the emissions work. Remember, it's 0.15 dogs per block, and there's I don't remember how many million blocks per day, because it's every 3 seconds on the Binance Smart Chain. So that comes out to 4,032 dogs a day. And you can get that from our good old cryptocoop.app. Shout out to those guys. So that lets us know that only 4,032 dogs can be emitted per day. But yet, we've gained 7,157 per day on average. So where did that come from, right? Good question. That means that people were purchasing dogs. They were purchasing about an average of 3,125 dogs per day. So if only 4,000 can be emitted or farmed, then that means there was a purchase of dogs about this much per day being added, because we have more dogs in total than we should have had if we were only farming them. So remember, there are dogs available to buy off the market that are on PancakeSwap. And before we go any further, real quick, a word from our sponsors. If you are not following my videos and my content, you may not know that I am a certified personal fitness trainer, personal fitness coach, and nutrition coach as well. Can send you the criteria and the certification if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But long story short, we are using Drip to get fit for the end of the year and New Year. So if you or someone you love is interested, comment below, send me a message, Telegram, whatever you want it, and I will give you the details on how that works. And shouts out to Goku, wearing the Goku uniform here today. And then again, if you are a lady of the Faucet or just a lady in general, we have a similar program, but it's for women to get powerful. We call it our powerful community. So another strength training program, but designed specifically for women. And all of this is paid for in Drip. Give you the details on how that works and the prices, but basically it's 50% off if you use Drip. All right. Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel, as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. Thanks for our sponsors. Back to the dogs. So again, this amount of dogs was being purchased on the market in total. So that's why we have more dogs in our supply than would have been available if we just had been farming them. So now we need to look at kind of the question is, how many dogs would be sold when we start selling? And that is the biggest speculation in this whole thing, because there is no way to know, but we can look at the numbers and then kind of make estimated guesses. So as of right now, we can actually see that there have been some dog sales. How do we know? because you look up here, you see that we were going upwards on the auto compounding, and people pulled dogs out of this farm, and yet in here, the linear still went straight up. Now, they could have just put them in a wallet, of course, but when we come over to the rewards vault, this is the actual rewards wallet that pays out the BUSD rewards on the farm. We can see that these same dates, 14, 15, and 16, we have more BNB coming into the reward wallet. So 613 here versus being sent out. Where would that come from? Well, we didn't have an injection, so that comes from the taxes that are associated with the dog. So again, we see that there were dog sells, and we see that in the rewards vault, we had a injection of capital. If you're not familiar with reading this will also help as well. So shouts out to Raven Bartown Conglomerate for putting me on to this in the degen cipher. But you can come over to Dune Analytics, and Fad MTL created a really cool reward vault analytic chart so that we can actually see the inflow of BUSD injections or rewards, if you will, in the reward wallet. So you can look here on the 15th and 16th and 17th. So same thing I'm showing you here. 15, 16, 17 is not here yet, but I guess it's technically 17 where I'm at. So we'll take that. You see inflow fees from farms and pools, and inflow fees from dogs. So this is showing that there was dog taxes that people were selling at. And remember, right now we're sitting at about 45 to 50% tax reduction. So I have 45% on my own. I'm about 12 to 16 hours behind the people in the US when this came up. Plus you have your 2% on your wallet loyalty score. So that's 47%. Remember, the lowest you can drop it is 94%. There's always 6%. So that means that some people are sitting at basically a 50% max tax reduction. So they decided, yo, I'm selling. And they did sell, but we can see where those rewards went. And remember, from our good old Wiki, we know that 1/3 of those, so 2/3 of all taxes collected on animal farm dogs are swapped for BNB, paid out to the dog pound, and 1/3, doesn't show it here, it's probably on the Pigpen, 1/3 is paid to the Pigpen. There we have it, 1/3 of all taxes paid on dog transactions. So we see that clearly in here. So this, on one day, we had $73,000 injected into the Pigpen rewards vault. Sorry, into the rewards vault. Hasn't yet been automated. That's what the vote was for, but that's for another video. So we can see that this is working. And then you can see in the rewards vault that we had went down to 1.126 million. So 1,126,000, and it's been creeping up, and that is without any actual injections. And that's not really coming from the farms and pools. Because remember, I mentioned this on my channel, people don't really just jump around in the farms and pools. They don't jump in and out. Yes, some do, but you can clearly see that it's small numbers compared to this 43.73. So that's really where the big rewards are going to come from. And whenever we get the stable farm, single asset pools rehypothecated. So let's get back to the money. This is what we really want to know. So how much could come into the Pigpen with the sales of dogs? So I don't know how much that would be of this initial value. I'm only using the auto because that's the one that's getting reduced at 1% per day for this speculation. Obviously, some people in the linear would probably sell as well. But for this speculation, I'm taking 50% of what was staked on day one. Because remember, day one, and every day after that, you're getting 50%. You're getting 1% per day. So let's look at some numbers. This is where the fun comes in. This is where it gets really interesting. So I'm saying that 50% will be sold. It'll probably be a lot less than that, but I just need to start with some number, and I didn't feel like doing a bunch of different calculations for every single possible amount being sold. So at the 50% maturity date from 17 November to have 50% tax reduction, all I did was take 17 November and add 50 days, and that means it's a 50% maturity date, right? So that takes us out to January 6th. And if on January 6th, all of this was sold, so remember this is 50% of that, and if everybody sold on that day, again, that's not gonna happen, the dog pound will receive $5 million B&B equivalent. I don't know what B&B will be at that stage. And I also calculated this off of a $50 dog price. So I don't know what dogs will be at that stage either. But again, I had to give some kind of concrete values to make this work. So if that happened, 5.2 million will go to the dog pound and 2.7 million will go to the pig pen. That is crazy. Let's zoom all the way out, because I don't think everybody would, you know, sell at 50%, but we're already seeing some sell, so who knows? And again, not all this at once, but this can just show you how much is available to be added if the dog price is around $50. So let's go all the way out to the 90% and just wait it out and say that everybody dumps in, nobody sells in between, but we get 50% of it sold at the 90-day mark. That is $1 million into the dog pound and 541,000 into the pig pen. So that is significant, because remember, this is a lot of capital sitting here that eventually some people will start to take profits off of. And of course, it's not going to all come out at once, but this just shows you the power of the ecosystem that Forex created when people start taking profits. And this is legitimate utility because it's coming from the taxes. It's feeding itself. And remember, you're earning these dogs. You're earning 4,000, or the platform is paying out 4,000 a day just for people staking their capital there. This also, in going into the Pigpen, is not counting any of the rehypothecated rewards from cake being sold. So this platform is insanely powerful when you look at these numbers. Now let's take it a little further, because this is a little more sustainable. So what I said after this date, this is what we could basically make per day. I'm sorry. Per day. So what this number represents is the 4,032 dogs. Because remember, these are being created right now at Peg every single day for people not doing anything besides staking their capital. So in theory, that many can be sold. And after the 15th of February, everyone who's been in farm since day one and started farming will have 90% tax reduction on at least this amount of dogs, because this amount is coming in every day. So on the 15th, 90%, then on the 16th of Feb, there's another pile of 4,032 dogs. You know, it keeps going because this amount's coming out every day, and most people are staking in the linear pool. That's why I say that. Plus, we know that there's actually more dogs being purchased. So this is a very, very, very conservative estimate. So this is saying that the 4,032 dogs is sold at the $50 dog price, and it only has a 10% tax that goes into taxes, 90% tax reduction. So that means there will be $119,000 per day going to the dog pound, $61,000 per day going to the pig pen monthly. Here is what we could expect to see with a $50 dog token price. That is insane. Going into the pig pen every month just from the dog pound. This is 100% sustainable, feasible. And even for those naysayers and fudders out there that say, okay, the dog's not gonna be $50, then let's come down to $25 dog price, and we end up with $1 million and $2 million. So 2 million into the dog pound, 1 million into the pig pen every single month after the 15th of Feb, because there's no incentive to really keep your dogs that you're earning if you have a significant amount in the dog pound already. So I would see some of these being sold and people trying to get positions in the pig pen and also to get other assets like ETH and BTC. So there's definitely an incentive to sell these reward tokens. That's what they're actually used for. So that's why I'm explaining this to you guys, because I do believe they'll be sold, and it's reasonable to believe that this amount would be sold as well. Somewhere around that. Could be a little more, could be a little less. But we're already almost making double that every day due to purchases. So as long as we stay at pegged or above, then this is safe to assume in perpetuity that we could see this amount. Plus, we should, by this time, this is middle of February, also be have hit the bottom of the bear market. So then if we're still at peg, then that just means we're going to go up from there. So again, very, very sustainable. $1 million injected into the pig pen just from the dog pound alone, or just from the dog reward sales, or however you want to phrase that. So this is the most important day, in my opinion, that you should be looking out for. Somewhere between the 5th of Feb to around the 25th of Feb. And I'll explain why the 25th in the next clip. But the last 2 to 3 weeks of February is really where we're going to see the most sales, and then it should start to level off and we'll see consistent sales, but it's not going to impact the dog price that much. and we'll find some kind of floor with dogs, but you're going to start to see amazing injections into the Pigpen. So that to me is huge. Now let's look at my last speculation, and this is showing a potential date of 30 November and a different initial balance being sold. Now where I got this number from is again the same 50% of this, but adding in the additional 14 days to the end of November with this additional amount of dogs that were being purchased, because those have to be sold at some stage as well. Remember, I'm only calculating 50% of the initial deposit just to come up with potential numbers in this scenario. So this next scenario is just a little more aggressive, saying, okay, let's look at the end of November, and then let's also allocate those additional dogs that were being purchased and see what that does. So when we zoom that out, we're still at the end of February. That's where I said 2 to 3 weeks. I said 25 Feb, but 28 Feb. We're still at the end of Feb, where everybody is at a 90% maturity date for the dogs that they've accumulated. And then we should have seen all of the sell-offs that would affect the dog price the most. And we still have these major injections coming into the Pigpen, and of course the dog pound. So again, Forex built a beast of a system that is going to run efficiently forever. Like there's nothing that can really stop this besides Binance not being able to mine blocks or something like that, barring any black swan event like that. This is an insanely bullish system that will sustain itself forever. And I could definitely see why they say it's a forever farm, and why other people on Binance will come look to this farm, because you cannot deny the sustainability of getting paid out in BNB rewards and getting paid out in BUSD, all without any Ponzi-nomics, with true utility and sustainability. Now, the question that I posed in the beginning, or why this is bullish for drip. Now, this is bullish for drip simply because, in my opinion, if Forex can build something like this, and it took him 9 months, yeah, and we saw drip, go down or whatever, what do you think he can do with drip? Now, I don't know when that's going to happen, and I don't know how much lower it'll go, but I just showed you how insanely sustainable, bullish, and everything that the animal farm is. And yes, I would love to see my drip token appreciate and do everything else, and him get some visibility back on drip. But you cannot deny the mechanics that he built in, the game theory he built into here, the sustainability, all the decentralization, and this is barely scratching the surface of what the farm's going to actually do. Remember, we can open up pools from other people. Scratchy's going to allow other people to do the vaults and stuff. The vaults aren't even located here. The game's not even built on top. Just the farm as is insane. And I just showed you the numbers, how we're going to be paid out at least $1 million injected into the Pigpen from just the dog token by itself. And we've seen with that $1 million right now, how we're basically getting about 10 cents a pig. That'll change when there's more and more pigs added, but 10 cents a pig is not bad at all in a bear market. So again, if he can build this, what do you think he can do for drip? What do you think layer 2, Scratch, layer 2 res, and layer 2 faucet will be? I have no idea, but I am going to ride this thing out because this is insane. And if at a minimum, or the worst case is, yeah, I'll just have to, kind of take profits from my drip position and move them to the farm. I see how bullish the farm is. I don't want to wreck my drip position. I'm going to hold out and take, as little as possible. As you guys have seen me, I'm being 100% transparent. I still have the exact same amount sitting in my BUSD farm. I haven't taken anything else from drip. Probably at the end of the month, I'll take a little more to add to this position, because I'll have to take those profits into December. But yeah, I'm trying to keep my drip and max it out. That's the goal. So yeah, those are the most important things. Try to mention the most bullish dates, or the calendar date marking you need to look into. The end of Feb, middle of Feb to the end of Feb, that is going to be significant. And it's why this is bullish for drip is because, again, the way that he built this robust ecosystem. And once he puts attention back on drip, if he can build this, then damn, who knows what we have in store for drip. So all you got to do is wait it out. Not financial advice, of course, but that's how I'm going to be playing this. So as always, I hope this provided some value. I thought it did. If it did for you and you're excited for the future, smash that HBO special by helping my brother out with the like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.